Hi guys, Dylan and Jason here from Life Beast. A bit of a follow-on from myself and Nathan's video about alignment and postural influences in today's society as well. We're talking about the children and obviously how people work and how people study and how naturally we're so inclined to come into this forward position. So we're going to go through a few release techniques to really allow your posture to realign appropriately and allow you to be in a better position. So Jason's going to explain the difference between stretching, release techniques and then active release techniques, and why we're going with active release techniques to be more beneficial.
Yeah, well, everyone always harps on about the benefits of stretching, how it increases our flexibility. That's just one aspect of how our muscle fibers are aligned. If you can imagine that, yes, that we are lengthening it when we stretch, but what happens when we get knots? And that's essentially what a lot of people suffer from, having a lot of these tight knots in their muscles. I like to imagine that, or convey the image that if you have a knot in a rope, pulling on each end isn't actually helping to release it. If anything, you're creating a tighter knot and making it worse. And our muscles operate very similarly. So when we do release techniques like trigger point therapy, what essentially we're doing is, instead of elongating muscles, we're actually pressing down these little points back into even alignment and creating, again, optimum performance in our muscle. Now, why we do active release therapy is basically the same concept. Instead of just doing one point in one range of motion, we're actually training the muscle to stay elongated and realigned throughout the full range that it should be in. So we're going to do a quick test and retest, and Dylan's going to explain why we do that and take us through the first release.
Sure. So Jason's just getting into position. He's going to be supine, which means laying on his back. And again, you want to, and this is for the people who will be doing this for maybe their clients or their patients or just friends and family. You always want to do a test before you do the actual release to see if it is benefiting them in the way that you think it should be. So Jason's just going to do a bit of a test, and this is just a simple one for where we're working. And you'll notice that his hands aren't too fond of touching the ground, and that just shows a lot of tension through here, on this cavity right here, and obviously this pocket. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're actually going to use our beast balls that we have here. Similar, you can use tennis balls, very, very cheap alternative, lacrosse balls, but we are in Australia, so they can be a little bit hard to come by. We've got these at a certain density and they're just quite tacky, so they fit in there quite well. And you'll notice, as we mentioned last time, Kelly Starrett loves to use lacrosse balls. He is American, and they just stick in there quite well. They are quite rock solid though, so we're going to use this today. And Jason's also going to use the kettlebell to pin it down and keep it in a good position. You can use anything, like if you're at home, you can of course use a milk carton. You can just have a friend to pin it in there, but we're just going to use this because it's quite big, it's quite solid, and obviously you can see it on the video quite easily. So we're going to show you how to actively release through this pocket of the chest, okay? Through here, using the beast ball and the kettlebell.
So I'd love to kind of explain, but it'll probably be easier if Dylan kind of talks you through what I'm doing here, what I'm pressing for and what I'm feeling for before I actually put the ball down.
So he's essentially just finding the band. You'll notice if you externally rotate your arm in this position, you'll get, if you are laying down, test it out, you'll get a thick band of pec major, which is your chest. It's just kind of really coming across and inserting across the front of the shoulder. And you can just find that little spot, and you want to just pin it down on that general region. And what you can do as well, sometimes you're not going to find the spot immediately, but you can wiggle around and you'll find your points of tightness. Most people are going to be in a very similar spot, but other people, certain people are going to have their little pockets that are a little bit out of whack and a little bit tighter up in certain little nooks. So Jason's going to pin it down, and you notice as he internally rotates, a little bit more. That's when it's quite short, so it's not too much tension. This is going to be where he wants to pin it down the most, and then he's going to try and externally rotate and really strip that muscle back and realign those fibers as he explained. And you can, whilst you're doing this, make sure you're breathing actually relaxed so that everything can relax. It can be quite painful, but very, very effective. So don't move through too fast, don't move through too slow, and you just constantly work through, just trying to strip that muscle back. So Jason will do about 5 or 6, maybe 10 if we're lucky here. And then we'll see how it all realigns, and very quickly too. We'll give him 2 more. I think he's breathing. Alright, I'll steal that off you. And of course the retest, just to see that it is benefiting him. Sorry. And the hand just drops. And it can be that quick on some people because you are so tight all the time. And I can guarantee you if Jason was to stretch this way, it would not be as beneficial, and it's just stripped it down. So we're going to show you a couple more videos about especially upper trap and a few other areas around there just to release off and realign your posture.